Jake, your resident content cowboy here, yeehaw, and my question for you is XIS, South America East undefeated team, the best team in the world? Let's find out. And to help me figure out if XIS is the best team in Pokemon Unite, I have none other than Zoinks. I motioned to you with the wrong hand. How's it going, Zoinks?
I'm doing good. I'll use both. I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Spragels?
I am doing fantastic, and I want to know why you think this might be the best team in Pokemon Unite. I want to start with the fact that this team has never lost a finals. They won every single championship series match from their region. February, March, I could go on. Eos, I could go on. May, regionals, they won them all. This is the only team to do this. Extremely impressive.
One of the most decorated teams in Pokemon Unite. XIS is incredible. Now, how they get it done, well, we're going to watch a game to find that out. But specifically, something I want to note that I love about XIS's gameplay is their early game. I'm talking about that lead up to 7 minutes and that first Dreadnought. Within this grand finals, that was a best of 5, back and forth game, very exciting. They got the first Dreadnought every single game. XIS early game is absolutely incredible.
Now tell me a few players that we should be watching out for on XIS.
Yes, one of my MVPs, a Pokemon that I don't often shout out, is the Blissey player, Asotu. Now, I don't know if I'm saying that exactly correctly, but they are an incredible Blissey player. When I was watching their games, they were seemingly immortal. I never saw that Blissey in the respawn zone from another Pokemon. It was always off a Hoopa reset or something like that. So an incredible support player. Make sure to keep an eye on them. How could I not mention Baby Mazo as well on the Dragonite? Their Dragonite is so fun to watch. Very explosive player. And I gotta say, this player is gonna make waves when it comes to Worlds.
Speaking of Baby Mazo, we actually have a little clip from the player himself telling us why their team is so amazing. And then we are gonna hop into a match.
What's up? I'm Mazo. I'm the attacker/jungler for XIS. We are actually the only team in the world to have won all 5 qualifiers, so all of us have 1900 points each, which is the highest you can get by playing on a region that had all 5 qualifiers, because some of the regions didn't have the February or the March ones. We actually started as from Brazil. We played both February and March Cups as from Brazil, and from Eos Cup forward as XIS. This is the same team, like it's literally the same 5 people that haven't played together since December 2021. So our team is pretty old, and I think this actually sums up a lot on why our synergy is really good amongst each other. And we're actually undefeated in the finals phase. We have actually dropped only 1 set during a group stage in the whole World tournament, in the whole Worlds qualifier tournament. So we come up pretty confident into the World Championship and hope we can bring up our best game to everyone and hopefully end up bringing up the championship for ourselves.
Here we have our held item and Pokemon selection for both of these teams. As we mentioned before, XIS, our purple team here. We've got the Blissey, we've got the Hoopa, Absol. This is before Absol was a completely broken Pokemon, by the way. Dragonite and Lucario. Yeah, still a little broken, right, Zoinks?
Yeah, I mean, there were certain players telling me all the time Absol was broken. They were prophets heralding some destruction for sure. This Pokemon is about to go off. Make sure you are paying attention to the Absol on the purple side of the screen.
Let's do it. Here we go. Again, purple team XIS, and then we have our orange team here, and they are playing. This is game 5.
Yeah, this is the grand final. So right now, XIS still has the losers bracket advantage. They came through the winner side. So if they lose this one, they would be entering into a second best of 5. But they are about to play for their championship title here.
Very nice. Taking a look at this here, it's interesting to see a Alolan Ninetales here in our bottom lane. I mean, I feel like this Pokemon had its day in the sun, but it was very short, Zoinks, with that quick nerf to its healing on its Aurora Veil.
Well, right there, I mean, the KO in the feed there, I think is maybe the reason they're trying to implement this Pokemon. XIS, I mentioned, their early game is so incredibly strong, and when I'm looking at the other side, it seems like this Alolan Ninetales is just to try to counter them.
Yeah, try to stop this Absol a little bit. I mean, Absol is such a menace. Absol is such a menace right now as we record this because we are in the midst of Absol mania, basically.
Yes.
But it was still very, very good. You know, you saw it on IX. You see it here on XIS. Basically, if you have an I or an X in your name, you're running Absol.
It is mandatory for sure here. Now look at this. Another player that we gotta mention is the Lucario player for XIS. They are so incredibly strong. They do get KO'd there, but look at the amount of damage. Now they're setting up their central area player Maso to clean up all that damage.
Nice, yeah. I mean, are we running both extreme speeds on these Lucarios? I'm guessing we are. I think that was kind of what was really popular around this time. Not a ton of power up punch unless you're random gaming or something like that. Little fight here, a little bit of an invade happening. Oh boy, they get out. Can you believe that?
Spragels, you mentioned aggression in terms of extreme speed and also the invade. That is the South America lifestyle. I have to imagine watching these teams, they have just no fear ever. Some may call it running it down. XIS calls it winning the game. And they are always invading, always going for as much damage and limit testing as much as possible. They're such a fun team to watch.
This is really exciting. Kind of reminds me a little bit of what I used to see in Japan and Korea, where it felt like it was irrelevant where the Pokemon started at. They were all over the map all the time, picking up any experience they could, scoring wherever they could. It's really fun to watch. I love invading Hoopa. It's such a strong play.
Yeah. We talk so often about MOBAs and managing your resources, whether that's cooldowns when you're using your abilities, but another resource that often gets ignored is the HP bar, right? And when I mentioned Soto's Blissey at the start of this game, that's what I want to pay attention to. They will go so low on their HP, but still get out and always able to manage, make sure they're not getting KO'd, not giving away experience, but still finding little ways to gain the advantage throughout the game.
Wow, do we have a Dragonite here for our orange team? I'm not sure we do. We're gonna have one here for XIS, which is what you've talked about. I mean, right now they are so far behind on orange. They need to get Dragonite and make it to Dreadnought right here. It looks like our Dragonite is already powered up for XIS. However, they threw that Hyper Beam kind of early. I don't know if they're gonna have it back, but they're cleaning this fight up, it looks like. Yeah, no one's here to even contest it. This is going down.
Yeah, that space made there by Lucario and Blissey from XIS just to, clear the way meant the Dragonite had to take a really long flank to get even close to Dreadnought bit. They weren't able to do it. Look at that. Also, Score Shield on Blissey still being utilized by South America here, and they're able to get that dunk through a Dragonite auto.
It is interesting that Score Shield got gutted, basically, but there are a few Pokemon that still use it pretty well. And look at this Lucario just cleaning up. Once you have this level advantage early, as long as you don't make big mistakes and give it up, you're in such a good position. And that Rotom's easily going to the side of XIS. Yes, it does.
XIS securing it while a 4-person bottom lane siege here too, which is really impressive. I mean, obviously Orange side is putting up quite a bit of a fight, but still XIS just putting in a lot of AOS energy there. They're up to a 130-12 lead, and they're going to start trying to defend this bottom goal zone too.
I obviously know they have to score, but that looked like it actually worked out a little bit better for our orange team than I thought it would. XIS gave up a lot of experience in that engagement right there. Obviously, the higher level you are, the harder you fall. The bigger you are, the harder you fall, and it's looking pretty good for our orange team after that first engagement. But of course, XIS still up, taking both Rotom and Dreadnought.
Yeah, these little mini engages, though, really important. I mean, they baited out Lucario Unite move, so that's a Unite move they're not going to have for second Dreadnought when it's coming up in just a few short seconds. So that one being off the table, as well as any other Unite moves, they're able to bait out. Every little bit of experience and resource taken away, so important.
Taking a look at these Lucarios just going back and forth. Wow, kind of a surprising Unite move, I feel like. I did not expect that Unite move. Now Blissey coming back with the Unite. Lucario goes down for XIS. Really aggressive for both of them.
Yeah, a little bit of mid-game shakiness here from XIS. I mean, you were calling it out. That bottom siege was a little bit foolhardy. A couple of Unite moves spent. Definitely a lot of pressure is going to be on the second Dreadnought. XIS not in the best position to take it at the moment.
It's really interesting. Something that we don't think about a lot, and I'm not sure, there's really no way to quantify it. Whoa, gosh, that was so close for both of these. There's really no way to quantify it, but even if you throw yourself at the enemy, you get KO'd, maybe you give up a little more than you should. There is something to be said for putting the pressure on a lot, forcing the enemy to continue to fight. Sometimes you're going to be in a really bad position because of it, but also it's interesting as a team to put your enemies in a position to never feel like they're safe.
Yes, and like we were mentioning before, that is South America's entire shtick. I mean, so aggressive, so many risk-reward plays are taken. Like you mentioned, yes, maybe you give up a little bit of experience, maybe you let the enemy team score a little bit of chaos energy, but as long as you are winning the war and not the battle, that is going to result in a game win. And I mean, XIS, despite having a tough situation, got themselves that second Dreadnought and are still in a huge point lead.
Yeah. What do you think that XIS would need to do on the world stage? Do you think it's this level of aggression is what they would have to bring to win this thing? Because I know every team is going to come sort of with their own style of playing this game. And I'm curious what you think XIS would have to bring to win the whole thing.
I think XIS will bring in a really cool way. Yes, I think the aggression is going to pay off a lot, especially in a world setting where there's so many regions coming together and clashing. As much preparation as you can possibly do, a playstyle that is very fast and always split pushing and taking these little mini advantages is a tough playstyle to adapt to. So when that is coming in, you are definitely relying on the enemy team to find answers to the solution you are presenting. Not an easy task when playing against a team as solid as XIS.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm watching XIS and it's not like they're heavy team fighting, but they still fight very well. I mean, they're using Lucario, Absol, Blissey can make any team into sort of a team fighting machine, but it does feel like it's more hit and run. It's all over the place, not in a scattered way, but in a very calculated way. And then at the same time, they just have an objective ripper right here. I wonder what they're going to do when Pokemon like Buzzwole and Glaceon come into the game. I don't feel like Glaceon fits into their comp currently. We don't know what balance is going to look like, but Glaceon doesn't fit, but Buzzwole, I feel like could be the kind of Pokemon that they could play with. Very assassin-y, very come out of nowhere and cause a lot of havoc type Pokemon.
Yeah, definitely. I think any Pokemon where they are able to express individual skill in a very vast way is going to be in XIS's toolkit for sure. Such incredibly mechanically gifted players. Yes, you called it out. Maybe they're not moving as an entire unit every single time, but if you're able to win your 1v1s and your 2v2s and paths, that doesn't matter. You're still going to secure the game.
What a big moment right here. Minute 30, Zapdos is here. I mean, XIS has their entire tournament, not exactly on the line, but they'd have to have a reset right here. And who secures it? Lucario does here for XIS. We've got a counter score happening right now, but oh, nope, stopped right there. Really nice job. And they're just dancing it out. That's a GG. They GG'd it.
That is a GG. I mean, look at this. XIS with just a gigantic point lead. I think the number I want to pay most attention to is the orange side. Despite looking really good in a lot of these team fights, having a really good presence across the map at many points in the game, they only got to a total of 118. Yes, XIS is aggressive. Yes, they are amazing mechanical players. But what they did so well this game was shut down any scoring attempt from the orange side. Immaculate defense from XIS today.
What a freaking treat that they would decide to GG here. I mean, it's tough because, of course, you know, there's a part of you that I think as our orange team, I'm sure you're heartbroken in this moment, but it is the end. I think XIS is the team that everyone would expect to make it there. And this is just a really nice way to end this tournament. The sportsmanship that you see here is, I think, pretty phenomenal.
Well, it's the thing that happens with Worlds, right? It's not just the best of the best across the globe are competing. It's definitely that, but it's also regional pride. And yes, you may have lost a frustrating match. You got so close, but still, you're going to have to cheer on this team in just a few months. You may as well spread the love a little bit.
Well, there you go. XIS might be the best team in the world. Zoinks, thank you for joining me. Everyone, thank you for watching and listening. Baby Mazo, thank you very much for your video message. I love you all. More coming soon. Worlds is almost here. Goodbye.